According to CNN, the Lanza episode and the shooting at the school at Shady Brook um, has prompted the officials in Connecticut to order a genetic sort of experiment. They want to see whether there are some genetic factors that could help them determine who will be killers like this, and whether there was some genetic predisposition that caused them to behave this way. And perhaps if they could discover that, then I don't know if they go around testing everybody, but they would do a test and determine this person has the potential to be such a terrorist. Well, according to Dr. Sonia Gupta, he doesn't agree with that because he says that even if you could discover something, you can't really connect it, and there might be so many things that you deal. And also, there are some other experts at Emory University and so forth that agree that it's a difficult task to really associate them. But I think we have to blame these same professionals because I recall psychologists and psychiatrists and some other people. They lobby to get religion out of the lives of people and in schools and so on, and they felt as if they have the ability to change people. And I think this is key. A very classic one was a young girl who had killed her parents in California or somewhere in the States here. And she was assigned a psychologist to help her work through the grief and maybe see if he could do some psychological games to get her back to normal. And over time, he developed a relationship with her and eventually married her. And I guess he declared that, oh, she went through the therapy, she's good, and she ended up killing him. My psychologist, I say my psychologist, I don't have no psychologist, I don't need a psychologist, but the state of Florida, Jeb Bush, and then they wanted to take away my child and they find that my ideas are so off key that they felt the place for me was a mental institution. So they're trying to set it up. They sent me over to the psychologist, inform him to do me in. And if he see how he concluded I have mental problems and I need therapy, he can't agree with my education. I have 10 college degrees and he don't, 10 or 9, whatever. And he can't really sort of see that they're genuine. And he don't believe my resume that I had such jobs. Instead of verifying it, he says that I might be having some problems and I need long-term counseling. Then they send me off to this therapist. She wants me to acknowledge that I have a mental problem. And then she recommended I go and see a psychiatrist. And I know how they're going to end up. They're going to spike the water or whatever. I tell you, we're running late, take some water, be comfortable, cookies, coffee, whatever. And they spike with something, or you take it now, they can call in the police and say this person is dangerous to himself and others, and take it to the mental institution for crazy house for evaluation. They keep putting drugs in you. And even though an independent federal person comes on to observe, you're going to be given the way they prescribe, and they're going to lock me up for jail for life. And that's the kind of thing, the potential for abuse, because they have power and they don't like you and all this kind of stuff, different race, and that much sense to them and the kids. And so this approach here is just a bunch of hogwash. I think more than a genetic problem, it's evil, man. When you look at this young boy, you can see that he's evil. His mom, she looks mentally ill too. She know he has mental problems. He can't handle school and the whole 9 yards. She got to homeschool him, and that's not key. When you have to homeschool the kids, don't try to tell us that they're so brilliant. Tell us that they have some mental problems and some other problems that you had to homeschool them because they can't get along in school and so forth and so on. They have to take them to the beach and make education. So, I recall in school in Florida, they have a beanie bag, and they tell the kids, man, if you have to go under the bench and lie down to get it, under the desk to lie down and get it, you see something going on the desk, get into a certain position and trying to release creative juices and understanding and so forth. When you just offer prayer to God and you help you out one. And secondly, if you don't have it, you don't have it. You need to go and pick corn. All this lie down and beanie bag and go under the desk. But you got a real job, which school is preparing you for. And you can't swing it, you can't have no beanie bag going lie down on in the committee meeting or under the desk to figure things out. We have some education resources that you have to find people to populate it. And so all these losers, we taking them on. People all in wheelchair, they have to go to school and stretch, you have to have a nurse, you have to have a psychiatrist, you have to have, so you take notes. They need to stay home, just basically understand to brush their teeth. They need to eat 3 times a day, drink water, this, that, bathe, and, those things, and just be spend all this money in educating them and trying to educate them and so forth. Just looking at problems. Because this guy Lanza and many others who are shut of schools, they don't have the ability to handle education. Many of them are on medication to be able to cope. And if they forgot to take the medication sometime, or they felt like I'm cured, and they go on, and then they find the way to education is so overwhelming, they flip off. And then when they discover that people are just cruising through, and they have to be working so hard and going through all this trauma and all this thing, they can hate school, hate you, and come shoot up the place. That's basically, I think, what's the problem here. But society and parents encouraging these kids into evil, man. You have Stephen King, who apparently at the early stages might have gotten money from the government to write fiction and so on, and write some books on it. If you follow it up and you read it, you would lose your mind because he's taking in the realm of some evil that is unfathomable. And many times I see some women around, they look intelligent, but they're going around in circles and you can see something in right. And when you pursue it and you check out, they're involved in some form of evil, either Stephen King or Harry Potter or magic or Ouija board, Wicca, some evil stuff they're into. And evil has sort of credibility in campuses, different magicians and so on. And if you talk about God and you want to pray, you just need to go to jail, you need to be executed. And that's the only solution to Lanza and all these people's problems. Because if Lanza, with the same genetic makeup he has, if he were in a church that God really countenances or had motivated somebody to start. And you see, when you go to church, or let me put it this way, some churches seem to get fame and credibility by how the demonstration of various healings and casting of demons and so forth. But you know what? The true church, people going there with those same problems and without any promotion, the problems are gone. The devil leaves these people, they can't stay in there because God isn't there. And at the door tell them, you got to go back. You can't come in here. In fact, they know they can't go in there, so they try to get the person not to go in. Because if the person goes in, they have to go. And if the person comes out with what is in there and it remains with him, the devil is out of a host to possess and to take to the next level where they will create such a trauma in the community. And so genetics studies ain't going to help solve this problem. It's just a waste of time. What we need here is understanding that not everybody is supposed to go to university. A lot of them just get basic training, how to live and avoid problems, and go and pick corn, work in the factory. You see, everybody got ambition. They want the American dream. They want a house, 6-figure salary, nice car, nice family, and all that, live in the suburbs. I mean, not everybody has what it takes to get there. And of course, I know many people out there who don't have it, but the family connections, the political connections, they're connected to the secret societies, etc., and so on. But, we have so much educational opportunities and resources. We have no God in schools. Because another thing too, if God had been protecting that school, he couldn't get through there. Because something would have gone wrong, the police would have seen him speeding, pull him over, and there you go. Or he got a flat. And by the time you get that straightened out, school is over. Or he gets a heart attack. Or he crashes his car into some lamppost or something like that. I mean, God has a variety of ways to protect his own. And even in the classroom, there's some of those children that got shot up. I mean, they may not have gone and do the extreme things like what he did, but they're on the same track to, to do, they have different roles. Some of them might be mediums, the devil, some of them might be magicians, some of them might like Wicca and be promoting it, and a variety of evil, pushing drugs, using drugs, what I mean? So if these parents had protected these kids by themselves, being covered by and protected by God, their covering and protection would also extend to their minor children. And so, those are the only ways we can solve these problems. But all this kind of genetic witch hunt and all that kind of stuff, and even a guy like Lanza, I mean, how would you feel that confident that this guy that may be a problem? But God could have been in there to help you to discern him and also to corral him away from that and even to stop him. Only God could do that. We need God back in education. Not like through the Middle Ages where evil going to purporting to be godly and trying to exterminate the true godly people. But truly and truly and truly, we really want to be like God and go with God when He comes back. That's the kind of religion that's going to help our kids in school.